I'm so excited because today I will try something I never tried before, which is to make a full Shabbat meal prep on a budget of $50 for a family of 5. My goal is to make 7 salads, fish, my main course, cholent, 2 desserts, and challah. Not only will I bring you to shop with me for my weekly kosher grocery haul, but also I will share with you tips and tricks on how and what kosher food I pick, and also how to store produce properly to stop wasting food and saving big bucks. So let's jump into it. As you already know from my Walmart grocery haul video, usually to do my meal prep, I will look in my 3 fridges and freezers as well as my pantry to see what I have, but because I want to buy everything for the Shabbat meal prep, I will use my magical kosher recipe book and choose a Shabbat menu that will be delicious but on a budget of $50. I will use, of course, my free printable grocery list, and the link will be in the description box for you. So now that we are ready, let's put on a pretty tichel and let's go shopping. Today I'm going to my favorite local grocery that have the best prices near me to put all the chances on my side to make this Shabbat on a budget a success. And of course I have enrolled my 2 favorite helpers to help me with the task. I will start with the veggies, and I know avocados are fruits, but they are still in the veggies section, and the avocados this week are on super sale at 25 cents each, so I will take 5 definitely to make some salads. The way to choose them is if the top is slightly soft and it creates a small dent when I press on it, then they are ready for consumption. If they were not, I would simply leave them on my counter for them to ripen. But these ones are ready, so I'm going to simply put them in the fridge. I will need 2 cucumbers for the salad, and what I do to make sure that they are good is that I do a physical examination on the cucumber. Like, tell me you're a doctor without telling me you're a doctor when you refer to physical examination to talk about a cucumber. But as you can see, there's already some humidity buildup under the wrapper. Therefore, I will remove the wrapper, dry the cucumber, roll it in a paper towel, and I will be able to store it for weeks in my crisper drawer without any rotting problem. I will need zucchinis for a salad and a side dish, and the way to choose them is to make sure that the surface has no hole, and the way to store them is the same way as the cucumbers. I will take a medium-sized celery root and I will use it for a salad, and I make sure it's not wet like this one, like ew, nor soft. I will store it in a cling wrap in the fridge, and this was $1.27. I will take some Swiss chard at 99 cents per bunch, which is a great deal for a side dish of Swiss chard potato and chickpea stew. The way to store it is so neat. First, I will cut the edges. Then I will remove the rotten leaves, and then I will place them on a damp kitchen towel. I will make the leaves slightly overlap. Then I will roll them onto itself, and it will store beautifully up to 15 days in the fridge. I will take some green onions. They are 2 bunch for $1, and I always pick them with a lot of white because this is the only part that we do eat. And I will also take a bunch of cilantro, $1 too, which is super good. And to store them, it's the same way for both, which is to remove the leaves that are not so good looking, and afterwards to place them in a pot of water. They will last up to 10 to 14 days in the fridge. I will also need some mushroom for my side dish, and the way, of course, to check them first is to see that they're fully closed like this one. The way to store them is actually to remove them from their container, and then I'm going to give them a little dry bath here. So with a paper towel, I simply remove as much dirt as I can from the head of the mushroom, and I place them one by one, more or less gently in the paper bag. I will store them in the fridge and they will last up to 14 days. I will use celery for 2 salads, and the way I choose them is, of course, for them to be nice and firm and green. And to store them, before I store them, I should say, I remove the green leaves that are not so hot looking, and then I roll it in aluminum foil, and it will store beautifully up to 3 weeks in the fridge. I also need some shallots, and I definitely prefer the one from France. I know I'm biased, vive la France! But they're always firmer compared to the one in the nets. Before storing them, I will look at them one by one, and if they are damaged like this one, I will put it aside, but all the rest that are nice and closed and firm, I will store them on an empty egg carton, and they will store for weeks on end until they're ready to be used. I would love to use these pre-peeled garlic, but unfortunately they are never kosher as we cannot leave unpeeled garlic overnight in the fridge, but I will use these garlic that are amazing. I simply remove the outer skin with the dirt and everything else, and then I give a little haircut to the garlic, and I stir them with the shallots, for them not to feel alone. Poor little shallots. I will then cover them with a piece of paper and store them in a cool and dark place. I will take some onions, of course. It's $1 per bag. I always check to see if the onions have green stems coming out of them, or if they are damaged like this one, or even if they are soft, because it means that they will go bad very quickly. I will take 1 bag of red onions because I really like the colors in salads and certain dish, and I will also take a bag of yellow onion because I like cooking with them. Before I'm going to store them, I will release them from their prison. I will cut them loose from their net because when you leave them in the net, they go bad faster. And then afterwards, I'm going to evaluate if they are damaged. So I will do a little psychoanalysis. No, I will simply do a visual check. Once I see that they're nice and firm, I will put them on an egg carton, cover them with paper, and store them in a cool, dark place. Oddly enough, in the middle of the aisles, I found some watermelon, and of course the way to pick them is to knock on them, as the one that sounds the hollowest will come back home, and it inspired me to make a wonderful watermelon sherbet. Next to the watermelons, don't ask, I found mangoes, and I do need mangoes to make some mango salad, which is like a family favorite. And I don't know about you, but recently I've noticed that the mangoes from Peru, even though they look so good, right? Pink and red and amazing, they're not very sweet compared to the one coming from Brazil or like this one from Colombia, which are smaller but so much sweeter. And the way to pick them, of course, is to look at them, and when you press on them, if it leaves a dent, a little bit like the avocado, they are perfect. Next to the mangoes, we have potatoes. Don't ask, it makes no sense. The way that I check them is like this. When I see one that is damaged, I skip the bag completely. But when I find a bag that is not so humid and I don't see any damaged potatoes, then it's going to come with us. The way to store them is first to see, once again, if there are some that are damaged like this one. This one will go on the side and I will use it first. But the rest that are nice, I will simply put them in a container. At the bottom, I will put, once again, my empty egg carton. And I will delicately put them one by one in the container, trying not to create a nick. Afterwards, I will cover them once again with paper. And they will store beautifully for weeks. I also need some sweet potatoes. I always choose them to be nice and firm. I will take 3, and they are 79 cents for 3. The way to store them is really to put them in an airtight container rolled in paper like this one, and I did a little test for you. So the one on the right, the one that I'm unrolling, is the one that I kept the regular way that I do it. It's nice and firm. And the one on the left is exactly from the same batch, but was left at room temperature for a full week on the counter. And as you can see, not looking very good. It has mold on it. It's super mushy, and with no effort, really none, it breaks open. So really not the right way to go. Choose my way. We also need some carrots to make 2 kinds of salads, and the way to store them long term is to roll them into brown paper, store them in the fridge in an airtight container or in your crisper drawer, and it will last for weeks. I also need some bell peppers for the main dish. I always check to see that there's no leaves, anything like that. They are $1.50 per pack, and the way to store them is simply to roll them in saran wrap. I need some eggplants to make some baba ganoush, and it's certainly not this one. It looks like it was bitten or something. This one is such a good color. It's super dark, but the belly button is quite large and the skin is a bit damaged, so not this one. And this one, albeit it looks a bit dark, but when you compare them, you see that it's so much lighter. So not taking this one, but this one. Wow! It is so nice and dark. It has a smaller belly button. Yep, that's the one that we're taking home. I need some rice for the dafina as well as the main course. I took 500 grams for $1, but I wanted to show you that this 8-kilogram bag only costs $8. And the way that I check them, of course, is to make sure there's no bug that can be seen and the expiration date. I will also need some chickpeas. And on a side note, while looking for chickpeas, I saw some cowpeas. Like, what do you do with cowpeas? Like, seriously, let me know in the comments below. So when I check for chickpeas, I always look at the bag, because if I see powder, like in this one, it's a telltale sign that most probably this bag is infested with insects. So I flip it and I look at the other one, and this one, oh my God, it's even worse. Do you see the quantity of powder? So it's definitely a no-go, but third time is a charm. So this one is perfect, no insects and no powder. I took, of course, another bag of 1 kilogram for $1. For the chickpeas that I will consume shortly, I will simply put them in an airtight container. I like to use glass airtight container, and I will do the same thing for the rice. If I had a larger quantity, I would put everything in the freezer. Then I simply take them and I will store them in my dark and cool pantry. And if you want to have a full tour of my kitchen, my pantry, my freezers, let me know in the comments below. I would love to share that with you, as well as all my tips and tricks to find storage solutions from the dollar store. I need some flour for the challah, and for the dessert I will not take a brand name. That's another way that I save money. I will take that unknown brand for $3 for 5 pounds. For whatever reason, my camera stopped working for a few minutes while I was filming, so I couldn't take that. I bought some tomatoes, $2, a can of diced tomatoes to make chukchuka for $1, as well as 2 cans of corn to make a different salad as well. And I also didn't have the chance to film the minced chicken that we already took in a previous Walmart haul, and I'm going to use half of it. I also bought 3 cans of tuna, which are $2 per can. Finally, we are done. My 2 helpers are like, can we go home, mommy? And I'm still super nervous because I've been calculating in my head about how much it costs so far, and I think we're gonna be okay, including the meat, the fish, and everything else. And finally, after going at the cash, the total was $50.93. So I'm a bit overboard, but I'm excited to share with you what menu will we have this Shabbat for $50. So on the menu this week, with the flour, I did my challah recipe, as well as with the same dough, I did wonderful and delicious babka. With the mango, I did a large mango salad. With the cucumbers and tomatoes, I did some crudité as well as an Israeli salad. With the canned tomatoes, I did some chukchuka or salade cuite. With the corn and tomatoes, I did another salad. With the avocado, I did some guacamole. And with the carrots, I did some cooked carrot salad, as well as zucchini and carrot salad. We also made this amazing creamy hummus. I highly recommend that you try. And of course, all the recipes are down below. For Shabbat dinner, for the fish, we had these amazing fish nuggets that we love so much. And as a main course, we had chicken stuffed bell peppers, which were delicious. And as a side dish, it was the Swiss chard potatoes and chickpeas. Of course, for Shabbat lunch, I did some dafina, and I used like the minced meat to do a kishka with the chicken, which was like really special, but still super good. And I used the watermelon for the watermelon sorbet, which was a huge hit. I am personally blown away by all I was able to make for Shabbat on a budget of $50. Usually it costs way more. Another thing that really surprised me is how easy this Shabbat prep was. Like, I really thought that it was going to be more complicated because I didn't use the ingredients that I usually use and they were different, and perhaps the end result of the meals were not going to be as good. But I was totally wrong. Everything was delicious. We had more than enough for the 3 meals of Shabbat, and it was so easy to make. So for me, this little experiment is a true show and tell that for $50, you can have 3 meals for Shabbat that are delicious, and it suits perfectly a family of 5. Thank you for being here. It means the world to me, and know that in my book, you are the best. I would encourage you to watch the Kosher Walmart grocery haul as a follow-up to see my full meal plan process. And since you are here until the end, please write in the comments, I love Shabbat on a budget, so I know I was not alone. If nobody told you today, know that you are loved and you are enough just the way you are. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and don't forget to Frum it up.